Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views. Time is 9:48 Central African time. And yeah, I have some bad news. South Africans could soon be paying significantly more at the pump, with forecasts pointing to a fuel price hike of up to 2 rand per liter in the coming days. It's a potential blow for consumers. You and I already grappling with the higher cost of living, where fuel prices ripple through everything from food to transport, to just necessities, basics that you need on a day-to-day to survive. And we're going to be unpacking in reality what that will mean, and also those interventions by the National Treasury. They've stepped in, announcing an extension of the fuel levy relief aimed at softening the impact, particularly for diesel users. I think 1 more month, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll be unpacking that if it will make any kind of difference or impact. And the key question now is whether that relief, as I mentioned, will cushion motorists or simply take the edge off what remains a steep increase. And we're joined now by Duvenage, CEO of OUTA, to help us unpack what this petrol price essentially means, what's driving the high, the relief that National Treasury has come up with. Will it actually make a difference? And could Treasury do more when it comes to supporting South Africans and giving them just some kind of breathing room? Wayne, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views. Always a pleasure. Good morning.
Nice to be with you, Salebo. Hope we have a lovely chat about this horrible subject.
I'm not sure there's anything lovely that can come out of it. Just give us, your reaction. Another expected 2 rand per liter increase at the pumps. What do you make of it, and how much of it is because of the global tensions that we're seeing, particularly in the Middle East, and how much of it is attributed or can be attributed to local policy?
Yeah, look, it's largely 80% of it. It's due to the international tensions and the impact that the Middle East war is having on the supply of oil to the markets. When you're around $110 a barrel, where it was 2 months ago or 2.5 months ago at $65 a barrel, you can see that alone has pushed up the price significantly. And then obviously the rand has weakened somewhat. That's attributing around about 1 rand in the 3 rand increase in the fuel levy. So yeah, or the 2 rand increase in the fuel levy this coming month. So overall, I mean, we've not seen petrol prices and diesel prices, and diesel, as we say, is harder impacted. That does have a ripple effect on the economy more so than petrol, because it doesn't just impact on commuting, but that's transportation of goods to and from markets, and that's going to push up inflation. And so we have a multifaceted pressure coming at us from all sides as a result of this.
Do we know the reason why diesel is having a slightly more increase compared to petrol?
Yeah, look, diesel has been unregulated. This is just a guide price, so it also depends on what the pumps, each petrol station does, because they can charge more or less if they want to. Diesel is a different extraction and supply process to petrol. Normally they followed each other. Diesel, in fact, in the past was cheaper than petrol, and most people have entered into the diesel, and manufacturers entered into the diesel market because of its lower consumption and lower price. Well, that's changed quite a lot. All the diesel operators are spending a lot more. But there are various factors that come into play, and it really just comes down to the extraction and supply and demand for diesel, which is a lot higher in this time, where there is a demand for oil, which is converted either to diesel or petrol, and the need for diesel and a global scale is a lot higher than petrol.
Mhm. I want to come back home. Treasury, I think it was yesterday afternoon, came out and said, they're extending the fuel levy relief.
Mm.
What exactly does this mean in real terms for motorists? And does it, see meaningful offset of the increase, or are people still going to be facing just a net price shock despite this levy relief that was announced?
Yeah, look, it would be the price of petrol would be 3 rand higher per liter. It's as simple as that. So the government has got this mechanism to soften the blow. We saw that happen in COVID as well as we entered COVID, and the impact of just the job markets and insecurities that came from that situation. The government dropped the fuel levy by 1 Rand 50 for 1.5 months to 2 months now. Doing so again under a different crisis, which is related to significant increases in petrol. So it pushes now the petrol price after that reduction to 25 rand a liter, but more so on diesel, closer to 30 rand a liter. So if we didn't have this 3 rand or 3 rand 93 cents when it comes to the diesel relief that the government is bringing, that's how much more it would cost us, and that's 3 rand on a 30 rand liter for diesel, for instance, or 3 to 4 rand is 10 to 11% of the price of petrol, and about 9% on diesel and 9% on petrol, which is significant in the greater scheme of things. They're planning to continue that for another month, maybe reducing it a bit, but they're hoping to do so on the back of some tensions being relieved, some peace deals being achieved, and the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz starting to flow again. If that doesn't happen for another month, I think government's going to be forced to push that relief for 3 rand for another month, I think.
My next question on that is our government doing enough, to shield consumers from global oil volatility? That's one. And the last question before I let you go, there's been a lot that's being said around South Africa's fuel price structure. It has long been criticized. Are levies and taxes still too high? Can we come to a point, or call for the government to try and reduce them a bit, ultimately reducing the price of fuel?
Well, they're doing as much as they really can on the fuel levy. That's the only thing they can do, and that fuel levy is, close to 4 rand, and they've literally given most of that away and all of it on the diesel relief. There's no other place they can on the price of petrol, because all the other levies are tied to other mechanisms or requirements. For instance, the road accident fund, which is about 2 Rand 45. They can't really take that away because that is serving a specific purpose for road accident victims, although the road accident fund has been badly managed, but it can ill afford any reduction there. And all the other levies that make up another roughly 3 to 4 rand are dealing with transportation levies, storage levies, wholesale and retail levies. And they're smaller levies, but they make up the whole supply chain of fuel to the consumer. And I guess it's going to be difficult to cut those out. So there's not much more they can do. I think one thing they can do, which is what we haven't seen much transparency on, is our oil reserves. We have about 2 weeks of oil reserves in our current consumption rate.
All right, we seem to have lost Wayne Duvenage, and he was touching on a very, very important point. We had unfortunately run out of time anyway, so I think that's where we're going to leave that conversation for now. But I think he got into the cracks of the matter, broke down the expected fuel price hike and Treasury's latest relief measure. And it'll be interesting to see if any more can be done by Treasury at this point, and whether or not we need to restructure and look at the pricing of our fuel, man. It's too high. All of these levies and taxes that need to be taken into consideration. we'll see how it all pans down as the month continues to roll out, and we'll see if there are any ceasefire agreements out in the Middle East that will ultimately see the price of fuel going down. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues.